In a cozy cottage nestled amidst a tranquil meadow, there lived a little girl named Lily. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the land, Lily's mother gently tucked her into bed. "It's time for your bedtime story, my dear," she whispered. Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Oh, yes, please," she exclaimed. Her mother cleared her throat and began to weave a magical tale. Once upon a time, in a faraway forest, there lived a brave little squirrel named Pip. Pip had a bushy tail and bright, curious eyes. He loved to scamper through the trees, gathering nuts and berries. One sunny afternoon, as Pip was bounding through the undergrowth, he stumbled upon a strange and wonderful sight. There, in the middle of a clearing, stood a towering oak tree. Its branches reached up to the sky, and its trunk was covered in thick, gnarled bark. Pip had never seen anything like it before. He cautiously approached the tree, his heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. As he drew closer, he noticed a tiny door carved into the trunk. It was no bigger than a mouse hole. Curious, Pip knocked on the door. To his surprise, it creaked open, revealing a narrow, winding staircase. Pip hesitated for a moment, but his adventurous spirit got the better of him. He took a deep breath and stepped inside. The staircase spiraled down into the darkness, and Pip followed it with bated breath. As he descended, he could hear the sound of dripping water and the rustling of leaves. Finally, he reached the bottom of the stairs and found himself in a secret chamber. The chamber was dimly lit by a single candle, and the air was filled with the scent of damp earth and ancient magic. In the center of the room stood a magnificent crystal ball, glowing with an ethereal light. Pip was mesmerized by the crystal ball. He reached out and touched it, and suddenly, visions began to dance before his eyes. He saw images of faraway lands, of talking animals, and of adventures that he had never dreamed of. As Pip watched the visions, he felt a surge of wonder and excitement. He knew that he had stumbled upon something truly extraordinary. He had found the secret chamber of the forest, a place where anything was possible. And so, little Lily, Pip the squirrel, embarked on countless adventures from that secret chamber. He soared through the skies on the back of a giant eagle, sailed across, and with that, Lily closed her eyes and drifted off to sleep, her dreams filled with the magic and wonder of Pip the squirrel's secret chamber. The 7 seas on a magical ship, and even met a wise old owl who taught him the secrets of the forest. As her mother finished the story, Lily sighed contentedly. "That was beautiful," she said. "I wish I could have adventures like Pip." "You can, my dear," her mother replied. "All you need is a little imagination and a brave heart." In a quaint little cottage nestled amidst a tranquil meadow, there lived a young girl named Anya. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the land, Anya's grandmother, Baba Yaga, gently tucked her into bed. "It's time for your bedtime story, my precious Anya," she whispered. Anya's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Oh, yes, please, Babushka," she exclaimed. Baba Yaga cleared her throat and began to weave a magical tale. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a brave and kind-hearted princess named Vasilisa. Vasilisa had long, flowing hair the color of midnight and eyes that sparkled like the stars. She was beloved by all who knew her, but her stepmother and stepsisters were wicked and cruel. One day, Vasilis's father, the Tsar, was called away to a distant kingdom. Before he left, he gave Vasilisa a beautiful doll, saying, "This doll will protect you from all harm." Vasilisa cherished the doll and kept it close by her side. After the Tsar departed, Vasilisa's stepmother and stepsisters made her life miserable. They forced her to do all the chores, and they treated her like a servant. But Vasilisa remained kind and patient, and she never complained. One evening, as Vasilisa was sitting by the fire, her stepmother gave her a seemingly impossible task. "You must go to the forest and gather a basket of strawberries for me," she said. "But be warned, the forest is dark and dangerous, and it is home to Baba Yaga, the wicked witch." Vasilisa was terrified, but she knew she had no choice but to obey. She took her basket and set off into the forest. As she walked deeper and deeper into the woods, the trees grew taller and the shadows grew darker. Vasilisa began to feel lost and alone. Suddenly, she heard a noise behind her. She turned and saw a pair of glowing red eyes staring at her from the darkness. Vasilisa's heart skipped a beat. She knew that those eyes belonged to Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga stepped out of the shadows, her long, bony fingers curled into claws. "What are you doing in my forest, child?" she hissed. "You are trespassing on my land." Vasilisa trembled with fear, but she managed to stammer out, "I am here to gather strawberries for my stepmother. She sent me here." Baba Yaga's eyes narrowed. "Your stepmother is a wicked woman," she said. "She has sent you here to your death. But I will spare you on one condition." Vasilisa's eyes widened with hope. "What is your condition?" she asked. Baba Yaga cackled. "You must work for me for 1 year and 1 day. If you serve me well, I will let you go. But if you fail me in any way, I will devour you." Vasilisa knew that she had no choice but to agree. She nodded her head and said, "I will do as you ask." And so, Vasilisa began her year of servitude to Baba Yaga. She worked tirelessly, cleaning the witch's hut, cooking her meals, and tending to her garden. Baba Yaga was a demanding mistress, but Vasilisa never complained. She performed her duties with kindness and diligence. As the year drew to a close, Baba Yaga decided to test Vasilisa's loyalty. She gave her a seemingly impossible task. "You must spin this flax into gold by tomorrow morning," she said. "If you fail, I will devour you." Vasilisa was distraught. She had no idea how to spin flax into gold. She sat down by the window and wept. Suddenly, she heard a voice behind her. "Why are you crying, child?" Vasilisa turned and saw her beautiful doll sitting on the windowsill. "Baba Yaga has given me an impossible task," she sobbed. "I must spin this flax into gold by tomorrow morning, or she will devour me." The doll smiled. "Do not worry," she said. "I will help you." And so, the doll took the flax and began to spin it. In no time at all, the flax was transformed into shimmering gold thread. Vasilisa was overjoyed. She thanked the doll and went to bed, knowing that she had completed Baba Yaga's task. The next morning, Baba Yaga was furious when she saw that Vasilisa had spun the flax into gold. She knew that the girl had received help, but she could not prove it. Baba Yaga was forced to keep her promise and let Vasilisa go. Vasilisa returned home to her father's kingdom, where she was welcomed with open arms. She told her father all that had happened, and he was amazed by her bravery and kindness. Vasilisa's stepmother and stepsisters were punished for their cruelty, and Vasilisa lived happily ever after. As Baba Yaga finished the story, Anya sighed contentedly. "That was beautiful, Babushka," she said. "I'm so glad that Vasilisa was able to overcome Baba Yaga and return home safely." "Yes, my dear," Baba Yaga replied. "But remember, even the darkest of forests can hold hidden wonders, and even the most wicked of witches can be defeated with kindness and courage." And with that, Anya closed her eyes and drifted off to sleep, her dreams filled with the magic and wonder of Vasilisa's tale.